Let's get started on this March 2013 higher tier calculator paper. Our first question is on an ordered stem and leaf diagram. Ordered meaning that I'm going to write the numbers down in order. So, first one being 17, and I cross them out as I go just to make sure that I have included every single number in my table. Now obviously this is going to be boring for you to watch, so let's just pause the video and complete. And there we have it. The reason that I like to write these out in order first of all is because if I accidentally realise that I've missed a number, I can always insert it in between, so that when it comes to writing up my stem and leaf diagram in neat, everything is then in the correct final order. Now, I put down my stem, which is going to be 1, and my leaf, which is 7. Okay, remember the leaves in here can only be a single digit, so 18 is only going to be 1 and 8. No need for a comma to separate these, because as I've said, these can only ever be single digit numbers. Now again, I will pause to complete, and there we have our completed table. I must now complete the key. You can pick any number you like in the table. I always like to just pick the first one, so that's to say that 1 line 7 means 17. And just as a final check, I knew here I had 3 by 5, I had 15 numbers, so let's just check our diagram. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, so I haven't missed anything out there. Okay, on to question 2, which is one of my favourite how much for 1 questions. It's a question about cakes, and we know that we can make 9 cakes with 225 grams of flour. We want to make a total of 20 cakes. Well, how much for 1? If I divide both of these by 9, I find out that for 1 cake I need 25 grams of flour. We want to make 20, so I can now multiply by 20 to find out that for 20 cakes I would require 500 grams of flour. Does Marion have enough flour to make 20 cakes? Well, no she doesn't. She only has 475 grams. Notice that this is an asterisk question, so I do need to make a written comment here to say no, Marion does not have enough flour. And then I am complete. Question on speed, distance and time. We have a graph here, and it shows Simon's journey where he's travelling away from home, he rests and then travels away from home again, and we are told that at 3 PM he stopped for a rest. We need to work out how many minutes that was for. Looking very carefully at my key, I can see that this was for 30 minutes. How far was Simon from home at 5 PM? Where are we? 5 PM on my diagram says that he was 20 kilometres from home. Final part of this question. At 5 PM Simon stopped for 30 minutes. He then cycled home at a steady speed and it took him an hour and a half. Complete the distance time graph. So at 5 o'clock he rested for 30 minutes, so I need to draw that on with a nice straight line. And then it took him a further hour and a half to travel home. So an hour and a half, he's going to get home at exactly 7 PM. So now using my ruler, which is around here, I can neatly join those 2 points together. Oh dear, this is a mess, isn't it? And there we have, close enough, my completed diagram. Obviously you're going to be a lot more accurate than that because you're not using some silly computer. Right, question number 4. We're talking about throwing a spinner, and the spinner's biased, meaning that it's going to land on some numbers more than others. We're given the probabilities that it lands on 1 and the probability that it lands on 3. We need to work out the probability the spinner will land on 2 and 4. Now it says here it's the same probability for 2 and for 4, so I know that both of these numbers are going to be the same. I also know that all 4 probabilities should add up to make 1. So far I've got 0.2, and if I add that to 0.1 I get 0.3, which means that I need an extra 0.7 to make up to 1. This is shared equally between the 4 and the 2, so each one of these is going to be 0.35. In part B of this question, we are asked to work out an estimate for the number of times the spinner will land on 3. Now it says that Shania is going to spin the spinner 200 times. So I need to multiply 200 by the probability that it's going to land on a 3, which is 0.1, and get my answer of 20. Right, thanks for watching. Coming up next, questions 5 through 8.